You're going to pitch for as if to investors.
Yeah, that's what I'm going to do for my startup.
Okay, you want to just go?
Yeah.
You mean get out of the way? Timer's ready.
Here it goes.
So, Jos, welcome. Tell us.
Thank you. How many of you guys are going to recruit should they succeed in fundraising? Should you succeed in funding and raising funds, how many of you guys are going to recruit? Well, pretty much everybody, I'm sure. So we are on-demand recruitment platform for startups, or founded startups. The problem we solve is that startups don't necessarily know how to recruit, and certainly not putting a job advertisement on Craigslist or on Monster. They're not going to manage to find top talent, startup talent, using those channels. However, using recruiters, professional recruiters, is too expensive. So we came with the idea, and our solution is to provide headhunting services for the price of a job advertisement. So how it works, you post a job on our platform, and you get our community of freelance recruiters. They are freelance, like the taxi drivers of Uber are freelance, and they are globally, we've got 450 on the platform, and they headhunt for you and recommend candidates. So what you get as a startup owner is a highly curated shortlist of candidates matching your job requirement, and we include a video CV so you can see that you can assess their communication and presentation skills. Business model, we take around $450 for job advertisement. 70% of it goes to the community of freelance recruiter. In terms of traction, we've got about 35 clients based in Dubai, startup clients. We have $35,000 of revenue, growing at 20%.
What do you need? What are you looking for?
I'm looking for $1 million investment.
All right.
To expand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Stay right here. All right, cool. Not bad. There's one fundamental thing. You pitched customers when you actually said you're going to pitch investors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So you address all the entrepreneurs in the room,
yeah.
But that's not what this pitch is about. It's addressing the investors and how you're going to make money.
Okay.
Anyone else notice that?
Oh. Yeah, it came in like 3/4 of the way through his pitch.
Well, so
business strategy.
yeah, traction. Bad boy. Your traction came near the end.
Yeah.
The traction needs to go much earlier.
Okay.
So I'm curious. So I've worked with this folks and advising about traction. Is there something immodest about giving your traction first? Does it feel impolite, pushy? It does a little bit. I get enough. So pushiness in this case, I would be pushing you to be pushier. Okay, give your traction right up, because that shows you actually built something. You got out in the world and got people to notice it. It's in use. Apparently, it's working, and people are finding it valuable.
Yeah.
Holy cow, that's a lot. So get the traction out there early. Did anyone feel like he had a big? Yeah, sir, please.
I was going to say, he didn't necessarily define the problem. I mean, there are other recruiting agencies. I work with a bunch. Why is yours so great? Why is yours needed?
Thank you.
You need to define the problem.
Yeah.
There's a bunch of people out there. Great.
Why now?
What's so special? We know what you do.
Yeah.
Why is it different?
Yeah.
What I was going to say that I liked was that he gave these two examples. One of them was Craigslist, and the other was high-priced recruiters. And it's like he's taking the top off of one and the bottom off the other and creating a space. He's claiming that space.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if you knew that there were other competitors in that space, you'd want to know how he was different.
Well, do we know, for example, this is to make him seem sage, but you say, well, from our studies over the last 5 years, 50% of startup hires, post-funded startup hires come from their friends and family network. Another 20% comes from professional recruiters. Oh, but look at this other stuff is completely ad hoc, and it's a disaster and a nightmare, and it takes too much time. So you need to carve out a place in the market that portrays you as the winner.
Okay.
You are going to be the Tyrannosaurus Rex in this sector. But you need to explain what that is. Otherwise, this gentleman's complaint here is like, yeah, so how is he better? Why?
Mm-hmm.
So super quick question. This is good for everybody to think about. What in your mental process or the mental process of your partners got you to convince that you became convinced that this is a winning business idea? how did you convince yourself that this is a winning business?
Well, I worked in recruitment for 10 years.
Yeah.
And that was a problem that I had. I thought every time I was sending an invoice to a client, 10,000, 15,000,
Yeah.
I felt like I was raping them.
Really?
And I thought they must have been
So you don't
better
like
way.
having a nice car? You don't like
No, I just think
Partner.
that reversing the model, which it's all based on success fees, having more.
So cool, it's a coherent explanation,
Mhm.
but what would be a more powerful explanation and shorter is always appreciated from the front of the room, is saying, I worked in this industry for 10 years, I know it's really inefficient. And when the fees do not match the fees do not match the value delivered. We need to fix that. It needs disruption.
Okay.
Where Steve Jobs would say that, it sucks.
But his context is he's embarrassed about those fees.
Yeah,
He's
exactly.
embarrassed?
Yeah, he's embarrassed about those fees. I'm screwing people, I'm raping people.
Exactly.
And
Yeah,
so-
I wouldn't, do not use that word, please.
Okay.
Yeah, this is not.
But as long as he's embarrassed and that's his context he's coming from, that's why he won't lead with his value.
Don't be embarrassed. Never say you're embarrassed when you're here. You can say, I used to be embarrassed. Or when I thought about it, I feel a little embarrassed. Or a little sheepish about how much money we made because it really wasn't a fair business, not an efficient business. That's why I wanted to change it. Yes, sir.
Yeah, so I was going to say, sorry,
Yeah.
I was just going to say that if you are saying, well, you can flip that and say, I'm making, the typical things that you said, 10x is always a great improvement for VC, right? So if you say, I'm cutting the headhunting cost by 25 times for the same high quality, right? That sounds more efficient.
You can support it.
Yeah.
You need to give a
Yeah,
little
we
tip,
can-
some kind of support.
Mhm.
Okay?
Okay.
All right, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Toss, well done. All right.
We hope everybody in the room will need his services.
Yes.
Post-pandemic.
Oh, yes, absolutely.
You want to go?
Where they are.
Come on up.
I'll give you mine.
Sweet. Your name is?
Michael Sexton.
Michael. Welcome.
And I'm always,
You want to roll? You want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm always happy to
We're
talk
ready.
about my company and
And
product from my company.
do you wish
Yeah,
to
we
speak
are
as if
watching,
we were investors?
Yeah, these guys got money.
Oh, yeah, plenty here.
All right, there you go.
Okay.
This is Santel.
So
right?
it's roughly about a minute and 40 seconds.
Yeah, I'll try.
And
I'll
you
try to
can
do
peek
that.
over and see his phone.
Yeah.
You can turn it. Okay.
That sounds great. Like I said, I'm always happy to talk about my company and the product we have. My name is Michael Sexton. I'm the founder of uplus.biz. uplus.biz, we enable the business professional to harness the power of video to communicate who they are and what they do. Now, right now in the U.S., there's 21 million sales and business professionals, 3 million unemployed professionals and founders, and every year 1 million new college graduates. One of the keys to their professional success and your professional success is how well you articulate who you are and what you do or what your company does. At uplus.biz, we craft 30 to 40 second interview-based videos that communicate this message directly to an investor, a customer, a client, or future employer. These videos are used on LinkedIn profiles, websites, in email signatures, and on resumes. Now, we started uplus.biz about a year ago or so in downtown San Francisco. Our flagship location is right in Union Square, but we designed uplus to be scalable, to license the interview and the shooting process to qualified entities while keeping the in-house quality control and customer acquisition. Our retail product is $399, and since we introduced that price, we've had over 200 customers and over $12,000 gross revenue. Now, one of the keys to our success is looking for funding. So we're putting together an initial seed funding round of about $500,000. That's going to get us to our next data points, our next revenue level. So one of the things I talked about before was exit strategy. Within about 3 years, we hope to be acquired by a technology-based, business-oriented technology company, also known as LinkedIn, to add premium services to their higher-end customers. I think that's about it.
Michael, well done. All right. This
Thank
guy
you.
he's polished. You and I have a similar risk of talking too fast.
Yeah, well, that's a
Okay.
two-minute normal pitch coming down to about a minute and a half.
So I've had people tell me, Roy, if you just slow down, it's so
Yeah.
much better. So breathing is good. It will help you slow down. Before I launch, comments for Michael. You are investors. How satisfied are you? How interested are you?
We're silent.
I think he looks like Steve Jobs from this side. He says
Big sunburn, yeah.
You guys have
Steve
potential.
Jobs.
If you
Too
slow
much.
down,
Sandal.
gravitas. You definitely got the potential. Gravitas, good. Dave?
I thought that you got better as you went. To begin with, I mean, first of all, I thought it was good that you were using your hands. You know that that's very effective. But to begin with, all of your hand motions were more choppy, and it was distracting from your message. As you became more comfortable with what you were saying, your hand movements became more comfortable and inviting, and then I was able to listen to you better.
Okay, others? I have my list, yes.
Yeah, I like the fact you supported with statistics and so on, but I can't remember any of it. Maybe one stat would be enough. If you throw too many figures and statistics, I think it
Yes,
loses the
totally agree. You
audience.
overloaded us pretty seriously on statistics.
And that's where the pause is really set in.
Well, I mean, reduce the statistics, but also give us, if you are going to give us some involved information, slowing it down helps, and restating it, or, you give us the statistics, and then you give the 5-word summary of what that means. So that's just a standard, speaking practice. Sir?
So I had like this credibility kind of gap in the middle before you kind of brought up LinkedIn and like this strategy. And I don't know if the credibility gap was something that you're winging. I mean, what I'm talking about is that we need about $500,000 to get to our next data point. It sounded like you're kind of winging it out a bit. You weren't really sure about this. But at the same time, I kind of saw you kind of catching up on your breath at that time. Maybe this was because you're speaking too fast. You had to, breathe in, breathe out. But that part you kind of brought up at the end, looking to get acquired by LinkedIn for the premium services, made me kind of reassess this. That he has thought through this stuff. He kind of knows this business model. So yeah, that was helpful then.
So you also buried traction. I would caution everyone strongly, if you have a track record as a business, that's going to come out. So you kind of need to lead with, here's what we've done so far, here's what we've learned. You have 200 customers and 12,000.
Gross revenue. In other words, if that was 120,000 gross revenue this year, I'd lead with that. Or if I had 120,000.
The thing is, they're gonna understand. Oh, why is he hiding this, or what's been happening in that year? So you need a story for that. So you need a story of, okay, we've been doing this for a year. We've got this much traction. We realize it's modest, and here's how we're gonna turn that around. So maybe it's investment, maybe it's enhancement in your technology, maybe it's better marketing. But there needs to be an instant answer to your history, because they're gonna figure that out really quickly.
Yeah.
And if you have any feeling you're leaving anything out, or that you think that your current record is somehow is going to excite them, that would be tricky. So you have a strategy for that.
I have to give it to him. He put a lot of information in 100 seconds, right? So it's really good. You can tell that he's been working at it. One thing, the numbers for me didn't add up. Because if you have 200 customers at $400 a pop, that doesn't add up to $12,000.
Right.
So in my mind, I'm like, what's going on?
Oh, she is quick. I didn't do arithmetic.
Yeah.
I'm a lawyer, don't hold it against me.
It depends on if you base everything on 300 or you start out and then discount some and you go up like that.
Yeah.
Very quickly, I would just say, probably too much information, I agree, but I love the energy. It definitely transforms me. Enthusiasm, the energy. So.
Here's what I believe a resculpted version of this with less information would be. We would really get a picture of all of these new people, and for that matter, old people, sort of being cast adrift in the new kind of economy. Everything's fungible. We're people working around the world. Everyone needs like a personal brand or some kind of message, because nobody's looking for a cog anymore. Everyone's looking for some kind of a star. So we need to hear that, and then we need to establish, claim, and prove the value of video and how it's a step above everything else. It's a quantum leap, and the people who learn how to use video and get the personal video or whatever scale of video marketing they need are total winners. We need some evidence for that. And then the final piece is we need the evidence that your way of doing it kicks butt.
One thing that I know, just because they've been a sponsor and I've talked to them, I think that you need to mention credibility. I mean, you have some very high-end clients, and I haven't heard any of them, you know, the founder of Zenefits, the founder of whatever, I mean,
That's a headline.
right? I mean,
Yeah.
the client, using those clients as a anchor, right? To establish
Absolutely, in
credibility.
the first 10 seconds.
Right, like, tell us some of your clients.
Yeah, like
So, like
Mike
some of the
Krieger,
videos that you've
Nathan
done.
Zarchek. I mean, people, they'll know here, you know, Mikhail's Vaughn from Zendesk. Is what it was on
Zendesk.
But,
And
you
what
know,
was the feedback from Zendesk? So we hear Zendesk, now we need to hear it was good.
It was. I mean, those
Okay,
those
do it
guys-
without the pocket.
However, that's not the majority of our clients. The majority of our clients are, you know,
You know, majority, shorty. We want the headlines.
unknown founders, realtors, lawyers, you know, business people. Do you have a question?
Roger?
Yeah, I had a couple of the same comments, but one thing that I found, you know, when I send clients out to VCs in particular, and angels as well, is that they're looking for entrepreneurs to grow unicorns, and not necessarily looking for quick flips, because, you know, the quick flip, you know, presumably they're not going to get a big exit.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of my concerns, and you know, I'll defer to Roy on this, it sounded like this is a company you're looking to flip very quickly. You're kind of just looking to get in there, grow it, flip it, and get out of it. And I think, you know, they're really, the investors that I deal with anyway, like a lot of the top tier VCs, are looking for people that are passionate, have a burning passion to build great companies and into your very big companies. And so one of my concerns was that you may be construed as just, hey, you just found something, you want to just plug it in, just, you know, get it to a certain size and flip it to LinkedIn. You know,
Who
I
else?
think-
Is there more?
I was just going to say, you know, if you go in there with this, portraying this burning desire to grow this big, beautiful company that people love, you know, the company and the products, acquisitions will come, you know, but that was just something that struck me as like,
Who else agrees with Roger on that? A little bit, yeah?
Yeah. Now, I